Exclusions mean they aren't what they look like. Exceptions mean they don't have to follow the rules of what they are. Exclusion from registration, meaning these are not investment advisors, even if they might look like they are. Things like banks and bank holding companies, savings and trust companies. They are giving advice on CDs. It's an investment. That's the normal part of their business, and they get paid for it. But they're a bank. They're excluded. Also the one that comes up with what my mention of what am I? The late exemptions, lawyers, accountants, teachers, and engineers. As long as the advice is incidental. Just because I'm a teacher doesn't mean that I'm immune from being an investment advisor. I'm excluded, period. Even if I go out and happen to work for a broker dealer or an investment advisor and I go and I give investment advice for money on the weekends. No, in that case, I'd have to register as I am. But right now, I am teaching. I'm teaching students how to pass a stupid test. The investment advice is incidental to that. But it's the incidental that's important. I saw questions. Engineers is the big one. Notice economist is not here. Accountant is. Economist is not. But an engineer, the only engineer that I could ever come up with as to how it could be incidental, there's only one that I know of, is a civil engineer, where they're going and talking about how to build this bridge for this city, and they're discussing how funding could be done. That's incidental to their bridge building work. But if you see something about like a mechanical engineer who on the weekends is going and giving seminars about mechanical engineering company stocks and they're getting paid for that, oh no, he's got to register. That's not incidental. That's not incidental to being a mechanical engineer. That's him going having a side job as an investment advisor, which is perfectly fine. But he has to register. Publishers of bona fide newspapers and distribution, things that are not giving specific advice. I think this is basically the Susie Orman loophole, that it's not really specific investment advice, it's general advice. They don't have to register. Exception versus exclusion, vital to understand. Exemption, not exception, exemption. Not bound by a rule, obligation, etc. An exempt security retains exemption at issue and subsequent trading. Exempt transactions must be established each time. We're going to get into what that means. Exclusion is not defined as. Pension plan is excluded from the definition of a security. A 401k is excluded from the definition of a security. 401ks and pensions might invest in securities. They themselves are not a security. The example that I've been giving in the past is a rose bush. I carved this rose bush in my backyard, topiary style, and it looks like the most beautiful suspension bridge in the world. And there are ants that keep crawling across it. But it's not a bridge. It looks like a bridge, and it sort of functions even like a bridge. The ants are using it like that. But it's not a bridge. It's excluded from the definition of a bridge. Versus this brand new bridge that we just did, that's exempt from certain environmental or pollution rules because it's now this super efficient material or something. So it doesn't have to follow all those same rules because it's better than those old ones. That's an exemption. It is a bridge, but it doesn't have to follow all the rules of other bridges. Whereas my rose bush might look like a bridge, might even act sort of like a bridge, but by definition, it is not a bridge. It took me a while to fully understand the difference between exemptions and exclusions, and they are very important. Any questions so far? But an offer is any attempt to sell, obtain, or solicit an interest in a security for money or other value. The offer is the attempt to. And there are lots and lots of things that you wouldn't necessarily think of as attempts to sell something. You think back to Series 6, rights, warrants are an attempt to sell. They are an offer. Exclusions from the offers. In many cases, it's a lot easier to talk about what's not offers. Stock dividend paid to shareholders. The rights offering itself isn't, but the sale of a right is giving an offer. They now have the offer. The rights offering is not. When the company gives the rights, it's not. That's an exclusion. Again, this is not the one that you normally gets hit. Security pledges collateral. That's the clear exclusion from an offer and a sale. The gift of non-assessable stock. This is the one that is the issue. Because there's a lot of negatives in this here. So let's break it down. Assessable stock is stock that I don't really understand what it is. Assessable stock is stock that I own, but somehow I still actually owe money on it. It's not like margin where I borrowed money from a bank to get it and I owe money to the bank. No, I still owe money to the issuer. I have IBM stock, but I owe IBM money on it. I have absolutely no idea of what that is, how it works. Doesn't matter. We need the definitions. So non-assessable stock is stock where I don't owe them money. Normal, regular stock. That is non-assessable stock. So a gift of normal stock, if I just give you 100 shares of IBM, or you give it to me, that would be great too. But a gift of 100 shares of IBM, well, it's a gift. Here you go, happy birthday. But if I'm giving you 100 shares of IBM that when you accept it, you now owe somebody money. That's what assessable stock is an offer. The gift of assessable stock being that I'm giving you a gift of value, but also a debt. You owe money to somebody else now. Accessible stock, you owe money. That's what makes it the offer. And generally, that's the one I hear when they get into like the details of offer and exclusions. That's the one I hear because it's stupid, and they like the stupid ones. I really have no idea of how someone gets accessible stock. I don't get it. But it's stock that money is owed on. It's not normal stock. It's some weird benefit from the company or something. Exchanges of securities due to mergers or bankruptcies. When two companies merge, if AT&T and Time Warner merge, and I don't know which one was going to come out on top. I think AT&T was trying to buy Time Warner, so probably would have been AT&T stock on top. That means everyone who owned Time Warner stock would now get AT&T stock for their Time Warner. They would turn in their Time Warner and get AT&T. Time Warner has value, AT&T has value, but that's excluded because it's an exchange due to mergers or bankruptcies. Questions? I think Shannon.
There we go. I think I heard it reverse. So non-assessable stock is normal stock.
Correct.
Okay.
So
and then accessible stock is money that's owed.
Correct. It's assessable. There's still something to assess on it. Some money that's I'm pretty sure that's where it comes from. Because like to assess like a fine, to assess a fee, I think that's the phrase to like money is owed. It's assessed.
Okay. I was looking the way it was worded under 2.9, like the third point down, says gift of non-assessable securities, stocks that still have money owed on them.
Sorry, okay, that's my bad there. Stocks that still have money owed on them are assessable securities. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Add that. I actually can go and add that right now for the future notes. I was
like, wait, did I just hear him wrong, or am I reading it wrong?
Sorry, no, wow, you're the first person who brought that one up. No, the money that's still owed is assessable stock.
Okay.
That is what assessable would mean. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
There, now they're updating the notes and I won't forget it. Any other questions on these exclusions from the offer or the offers?